All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Await and got Yusuf and Johnny here today. We just got done with the first leg of the new Champions League format. We also have big games coming up in the Premier League. We're gonna jump straight into Champions League, but before that, let's recap on what happened in fantasy. So this week, I believe Tyler won with 61 points. He's up to fourth. Axel's still on top. Yusuf, you went down a little bit. This is probably your worst week. What happened there?
Bro, that international breakout, he fucked up. Just that's what happened. Players who should have played didn't play. Coming from
Yeah,
like South America, different parts of the world. So, and I listened to
yeah.
Fabry.
For real,
Fucking
bro.
cool.
For
So that's
context,
the last time I'm doing
dude.
that.
Yeah, for context, we both had Salah and Holland, and we deciding who to captain. I was like, bro, it's gotta be Salah. It bit us in the ass. For me too, because I still had a good week. But if I would have captained Holland, I think I would have won this week. That was an extra 14 points I missed out, or 13 points. But Johnny, you had one
Yeah.
of your best weeks, bro. You're up at the top three.
Yup, yup.
You did Captain Holland, didn't you?
So, a bit of a backstory. After that pod, I was so excited to work on my team. So what I've been doing, bro, what happened was is that second week, that triple Captain Holland, I wanted to play devil's advocate, right? So
Yeah.
bro, I went stupid. I made like three new teams that had none of the same team players that I had on the other teams. But I was like, on one of these teams, I'm going to bring Holland and I'm going to triple captain Holland. So because of that, I'm locked into the fantasy because I have so many teams to
Oh my
change.
god.
Okay,
This
like
dude's
I'm
locked
I'm
in.
I'm locked, right? But listen, I'm kicking myself because I was so excited because what I've been doing actually is like I'll set an alarm for like 2 o'clock on like no, Sunday morning at 2 a.m. I'll set that, and then from
You're
three to
nuts. 2
three to
a.m.
from 3 to 5 a.m. That's like the last 2 hours to like make your changes. So I'm literally just I'm streaming this. I'm streaming just scrolling on Twitter and just kind of hopping back between my teams based off of like some of the stuff that like I read and stuff. And bro, after the pod, I just didn't even set an alarm and I just fell asleep. So I'm looking back at it and I'm like, I would have captained Salah, I would have viced Captain Holland, I would have done so much more
Ooh.
changes. But so I actually got lucky that I fell asleep. But there was one team I had Gibbs White instead of Mateta in the team, and that probably would have been. And that was he got 13 points because he got 2 goals for Palace this last weekend. So I'm like, damn. And now Triple Holland team, they got 76 points this week.
Are you?
Bro, I might have to like do a free or a wild card and change my team to that team because that team is doing going stupid too. Like literally, I'm only 20 something points away, and that was missing a whole week from the first week just because of that triple captain.
This dude said he's gonna win one league no matter
Yeah,
what.
bro. This is
if I can't
ridiculous.
beat if I can't beat y'all, I gotta beat myself at least.
Bro. Boys waking up at 2 a.m. Nah, you can have it, bro. You can have it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever woken up that early for fantasy, but I definitely see it right away first thing in the morning. I'll get like the alerts, sign up for the alerts and newsletters to get tips and stuff. I watch a lot of YouTube, and some of the YouTube pods that I watch talk about, their choices and thoughts for fantasy, but I never do too much as much as making an extra team and signing up for other
I gotta
leagues.
I gotta know who's performing and who's not performing.
The shit, there's a Champions League one. Obviously, it's already started. I was kind of too late. I mean, I guess we all start late, but there is a Champions League fantasy I saw. I knew about it last year, but I didn't know if everyone was gonna want to do it in the second fantasy, so I didn't bring it up. But perfect bridge to fantasy. Well, what game was your favorite this week? So we had both all the teams playing. This is a new format. So first of 8 games. Yusuf didn't have the greatest result, and Johnny, you talked about watching the City game, and it was pretty boring. But out of the other games, did you have a favorite? I know we had big games like the Milan Liverpool one, which is a really classic game. Then we also had Madrid winning 3-1, Bayern dominating 9-2. Did you guys have a preferred game?
You said go ahead, go ahead.
You know, I do got to give my boy Company a shout. You know, he's performing pretty well with Bayern Munich. I know they played like a scrub team, but he has been clicking on all cylinders, which is really different from, well, not different from Burnley, but he just has a different personnel than Burnley. So my boy's looking hot over there.
For sure. I definitely think not much people were expecting much from him, especially because he came from a relegated team, and he's also not really a greatly known manager outside of his work in Burnley. And he's proven the doubters wrong. I mean, it's still early, but they're getting results, and they're looking like the Bayern of old. I mean, Bayern always stomped teams in the Bundesliga, and they're doing that. They just won 6-1 last game in the Bundesliga. Harry Kane with the hat trick. And he got 4 goals in this game. I believe it was 4. But I mean, he looks like a well-oiled machine again. That's for sure.
I just want to say, Elise is looking cold on that.
Bro, 2 goals in that game too. Nah, I was just bashing, and this is for the pod. This is because y'all were here, y'all are in the group chat. I was just bashing Company, but nah, like I have to give credit where credit's due. Looking at that run of fixtures, he's been doing well, you know. But I'm on the red side of Manchester, okay, and so big forehead fraud like that, he's got to work a lot harder to earn my respect. So, like I said, he's got to beat some of the bigs. He's got to beat Leverkusen. He's got to beat Dortmund. But I said, if he keeps this up, then you know he's gonna make me eat my words. And
he's gonna go to City.
He can do that. He can do that if he wants to. I don't care. I don't even care. No, but. Because he's good at winning the championship. Maybe that's my joke. That's my joke. There we go. There you go. I can't be too nice about Company, but no, honestly, my favorite game has to be either Madrid 3-1 because I'm a Madrista. But honestly, I watched the Juve and PSV game, and dude. So the main reason why is because Thiago Motta is the coach of this team, and so he did bits at Bologna, and so I'm like, let me see what he's doing at Juve. Especially he's got, but for lack of a better term, balls to really like tell Chiesa, go kick rocks, like we don't need you. And so for him to kind of get this team moving the way that they did and balling out, like I'm really, really excited to see what he can do. I mean, bro, Nicolas Gonzalez, bro. A goal and an assist in that game. He looked insane. And then the young Turkish lad, I don't even want to say his last name because I know I'm going to butcher it, but Keenan, 19-year-old boy Keenan, that dude is something different, man. I was telling the homies in the messenger chat that I literally have to go against this guy every time in the Champions League and Football Manager, and he's always scoring a goal. I'll literally send a screenshot today. He had 2 goals against me in the last like 10 minutes of the game. We lost 3-2. He's different, bro. Like this kid is gonna be insane. So Turkey really have this golden generation, and I hate saying that because of the U.S. and Belgium, but Turkey could be on the rise with this youth, and so they're my dark horse for the Champions League. I'll say that right now. A lot of people are going to sleep on Juve. I think if we see them go far, I won't be too surprised.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I definitely we weren't expecting much from Juve, especially when they shipped out a lot of their players and Keiza's gone now too. We thought, oh well, this Juve might have like another patch of barely making it into Champions League, but they've definitely impressed. The Nico Gonzalez you mentioned, he was actually one of those sleeper picks for player of the tournament for me for Argentina in the Copa America. Not not really was ever gonna win player of the tournament, but every time he did come on as a sub, and the few times he started, he always looked sharp. He's always dangerous. Almost looks like when Endrick comes in from Madrid, even for like 5 minutes, and he's always doing some shit. I don't understand how he's always in the right spot. That's what Nico looked like at the Copa America. I haven't watched all of Juve's games, and I didn't watch the Juve game this week, but this past Champions League fixture. But from what it sounds like, he's continuing that good form. So really excited to see how Juve plays out, or how their season plays out. But I already kind of alluded to it. But Madrid again for me is my favorite match of the week, for two reasons. One, because it's just proving again how sharp Courtois and how important Courtois is for us. Because they gave us a run for our money in the first half, and damn, Courtois came up big, and there was always concerns about how he was gonna come back from his injury, and he already proved the doubters wrong because he played really well even the end of last season. But he's continuing that form, and without Courtois, we wouldn't have won this game. So I love that game for that reason, because it shows that he's really, really strong and recovered, and he looks healthy. And two, because our boy Endrick got a goal. Even though, did you guys see the goal?
It was
I did.
a little sloppy, but
Bro,
hey, if you don't shoot that, you don't
yeah,
score.
true. But in 9 times out of 10, you don't shoot that shot, bro. I was like, bro, you have Mbappe out all alone, you have Vinny out all alone, and this man had the balls to take a shot from like 30 yards out. It was a terrible shot, by the way. It was right at the keeper, but it was
Shit shot.
so much power that the keeper fucking let
I
it
don't
go.
think he probably wasn't expecting the shot. So by the time he recognized, hey, that ball's actually coming at me, like he was like,
Yeah.
no way, this kid shot. Like that was his reaction. The
Yeah,
minute the
exactly.
ball
Because
was coming close.
no one would have thought he shot. I don't know if you've seen the videos of like Vinny and Mbappe's faces. Like they weren't mad, but they were like shocked. It was like, did he just shoot that? And then when they realized it went in, they were like, I guess, like whatever. But nobody would take that shot. So the fact that he did as an 18-year-old shows like the balls and confidence that he has. But I think it would have been a completely different story if the keeper
He
would have
shanked
blocked
that, or he
it.
just shanks that.
For real, like, well, I was watching the game and I was like, "Oh, give it to Vinny, give it to Vinny," and I was like, "Oh, Mbappe's open too," and this dude shoots it. I was like, I was already cussing him out, bro. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then fucking it in the back of the net. I was like, "This dude is."
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God! Did you guys see the goal that Gazaniga let in today? The Hirona keeper,
Yes.
No, I didn't
bro.
actually.
Is
Wait,
the
wait,
it's
wait.
it's
I got
approaching the 90th minute. It's approaching the 90th minute, around 80th minute, 89th minute, close to 90. Nuno Mendes puts in a cross outside the box. It's on the floor, literally on the floor. A defender deflects it. It's not a heavy deflection to the point where it goes in. It's still going straight to his hands. He goes down to collect the ball. It goes past his hands, through his legs, and in the net, bro. That was the most incriminating. That was the one thing that I saw on the highlight after watching that really boring game today. That bro, Hirona going out like that had to hurt, man.
I can't,
PSG are
bro.
wiping the sweat, bro.
I can't speak for certain, but I'm almost confident that the last like La Liga match for Girona, I don't know if it was the last one or 2 weeks ago. Gazaniga was the reason they lost. Also, like he made like two big mistakes. I don't know what's going on with him, but the fact that you mentioned that and then he did a terrible mistake again, I don't know, man. I kind of see why he never made it in the Premier League. Because Jesus, I don't know. You just can't be that. And I guess Allison makes a lot of mistakes, but he also comes up big, way more than he makes mistakes. Did you guys watch the Liverpool game?
Nah,
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
You did,
I'm
Lisa?
looking at Milan fan, so yeah, I watched them.
Yeah.
They look good. Those guys look good from set pieces. They definitely bounced back from the weekend with that loss to Forest. But I mean, Milan made it easy for him, bro. Like we just stuck from the set pieces. Midfield was pretty open. He
Yeah.
just lost his street by himself, bro. So It
So
was.
what do you think the difference was? Because I mean, I think a lot of people would argue that Milan's way better than Forest. So what did Liverpool do differently? I guess.
I think they just got more physical and we're just shutting up shop at defense. Usually with Milan, like if Leao's not performing, the whole team is not performing. And I really, really like Leao. Like I think he's a quality player, but I just think he's too raw. He's too inconsistent. He like mucks about and like he's just not on the front foot defensively either. So if you don't have the ball, he's kind of a liability. And it was pretty much like 11v10 and 11v8 most of the time. But it was just Liverpool doing what Liverpool does.
Yeah. So with the Leao thing, I'm glad you mentioned that because for starters, you're right. When Leao and I would also add Theo Hernandez aren't cooking, Milan really isn't cooking. But secondly, I don't know if you guys heard about like what went on like a week or two ago with both Leao and Rafa Leao and Theo Hernandez. Like they were basically, I don't know if it was with the coach. It was with the coach, but they're having issues and like they're not starting as much and whatnot. And then they got subbed in, I think, in one of the Serie A matches, and then they had like a water break. Then the whole team came and like had water and whatnot. And yeah, out of like bitterness, I guess Leao and Theo just kind of stayed out on the corner by in the pitch and didn't like meet for the team huddle. And then it was just kind of it was just kind of like a sign of disrespect in a sense to the coach. And there's these like images of them staring at each other from a distance. And there's this whole thing, and I just feel like with the inconsistencies and then tossing on like animosity with the coach doesn't do you any good. So I could easily see both these players honestly leaving Milan soon enough, especially because they've been there a long time now and they've been playing really well. That I'm sure any team would want to pick them up in the winter. Do you think they stay, or is this their last season?
I saw something that makes. I'm glad that you brought up that story about the incident with the water break because I had no idea what happened. It makes a lot more sense now because I saw an article the other day that said that um, Barca are sniffing Leao and asking what's his asking price, but Milan said it's the release clause is 175. Y'all don't got that, so good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, good luck. And so it makes sense now why I heard even just a rumor of him potentially exiting. But yeah, I mean, there's already rumors starting, so that's where I feel like he could leave. Where he goes, I don't know.
I'll take Dale back at Madrid.
Around the fan base, I can tell you, like the fans are not happy with the coach. There's a lot of discourse with him. Francesco Fonseca or whatever the fuck his name is.
Paulo Fonseca.
Yeah, he's not really shown me anything. Even when he came in, I really wasn't. And we like Milan low-key had a good summer. Bar fucking Emerson. Like they had Yusuf Fofana came in. They
Tammy Abraham's on loan.
Morata.
Yo.
And that midfielder, Tijaners or whatever, number 14 from Amsterdam. He's cooking. I don't know about y'all. He's good. But I think what's his name is probably going to leave before Leao. But it's just a matter of who gets him. I think PSG probably going to come and get that money.
Honestly, that would be a perfect destination, to be honest. Yeah. So, I don't know what.
I do not see him working with like a Pep man. The Pep would get pissed off with this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually look up how much time's left on their contracts because I feel like they've been there a long time.
I think they both have like a year left or two, so it's not very long.
Oh, so Leao actually has 2 years left. No, so 20. He has 4 years. Holy shit! Oh, he extended in 2023.
I feel like his extension was pretty recent.
Yeah, he extended 2023. He's until 28 now, so that's gonna be a big money move if he leaves because he did extend. And then Dale, I'm hoping to God this guy didn't extend too because he's gonna be expensive as fuck.
Dude,
And
would you take him back to Madrid?
I take
Guys?
him back. I don't know. The problem is Madrid never buys players back. There's so many players that do so well.
Morata is the one guy I can think of, and that was because he was crying because he knocked out Juve, and then he did fuck all for Madrid the next season after that.
But like you said, that's the one exception. But outside of that, there's so many
I can't
players that
think of
went on to
any.
do so much, like Odegaard, Hakimi, Theo, and then just even I just can't think of more. But I know there's hundreds more that we just always
Llorente,
hit Llorente. Yeah, exactly. And we'd never buy him back. We just never do. It's just one of those things that I feel like we just don't buy players back as often. But
I
that
feel
we ain't bringing back the exes, fam.
Theo's
I
contract
also
is 26, so he's got 1 year left.
I don't think you guys need him because he seems to be just an up and down left back. He doesn't really invert. He's still
Yeah.
really relying on his pace. Like not the greatest touch. So, it's not really a loss if you guys don't get
Mm-mm.
We really need a right back because I mean Carvajal has been putting in a shift for so long. Before I wanted it more because he was injury prone every season. Last season was probably his first season where he was healthy the most part of the season, and but even despite that, I can't. With him getting older and older every year, I can't feel confident with him being our only right back because you got to keep in mind our other right back is Lucas, who's not a right back. He just covers for Carvajal when he was injured, and he's a right winger that's been trained into being a right back. But you see the flaws in his game when he's at right back sometimes because that's not his natural position. So you would think a team like Madrid would invest in the right back. We talked about it during the summer, and that's one of the positions I wanted the most. Even before a striker, I believe the right back position was critical, and we haven't addressed it. So I don't know what the plan is going forward, and I don't think we've even been linked to right backs. Besides, I
Trent,
guess Trent would be. The thing
Trent.
is, he can't defend, so it's like that's just like signing another Lucas Vasquez. Like it's
Hell no.
just like yeah, he's more creative, and sure he'll probably set up us more goals, but Trent can't defend. I would rather take Lucas Vasquez over that. So is that really an upgrade? I don't know.
That's crazy.
I was
Yeah.
kind of banking on Reece James until he got injured like 5 seasons in a row. It was like, bro, that
I
dude.
I I just got a update on Twitter. Breaking: Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard is expected to be out for a minimum of 2 months.
Yeah, is there another international break?
So
Or
not a while must mean must.
There's one more.
there's one more? I'm hoping there's an that's in that
Like
time frame.
November, right? Like November or some shit.
Oh yeah, it might not be in the time frame. Who knows? Depending on how the game. Oh yeah, it might. But anyways, that's a fucking long time. The season just started, dude. That's crazy. Bro, why is it that so many players get injured in international break though? That's my question. Dude, like it's ridiculous the amount of players that I know like we talk about the whole there's so many games, blah blah blah. But why is it that they play a game in the Prem one weekend and the next weekend full rest? That's when they decide to get injured. Is international break. It happens all the freaking time. It's just ironic, I guess, because that's what all the clubs are afraid of, and exactly what they're afraid of always ends up happening. But I don't know. I hate international break to begin with because I don't think the Nations League is a real thing. But I don't know. I feel like Arsenal and Madrid so far this season have been hurt the most with injuries. Am I right saying that, or is there another team that's had more injuries than us?
Let's think. I can't think of too many.
Because Madrid's already had like 6 or 7 injuries.
Yeah, so far it seems to just be you guys.
I don't know what it is because it wasn't like that until like last season. Last season we had the same thing. I mean, we had all the ACL injuries last year, and this year, I mean, there haven't been. Thank God, it hasn't been major injuries. But shit, dude, we just getting like 3 week injuries here, 2 week injuries there, left and right. I think our whole
Ye-
midfield has been injured.
I mean, you could say United are in injury trouble. I'm thinking Lenny Yoro's out, Luke Shaw's out, Hoyland's out,
Yeah,
Malasia's out. They got a good list of players out,
yeah,
but
I would agree. I mean, obviously, it's easy to make fun of United for being shit, but I'm sure those 4 players would help. Maybe not Euro as much because he's young, but I mean, the way United's defending right now, he probably would help. So
hey, we
yeah,
got 7-0 against Barcelona. You saw that? You seen the meme? You seen that meme? It's
no,
Barnsley's 3-letter abbreviation was BAR.
yeah.
So Mandan was
Oh.
putting pictures going. I'm gonna tell my kids we beat Barcelona 7-0 this day. I started dying laughing,
You
fam.
take what you can get, bro.
That's the banter club this club is now, bro.
Oh man.
Calling Barnsley Barcelona.
Yo, so I was actually looking at your squad the other day. I can't remember. I think it was because of fantasy. And you have so many players that I feel like have potential. And
Who?
well, okay, so I'm not high potential. So let me
Wait, who are
clear
you
that
talking
up.
about? Who are you
United.
talking about?
United.
United.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Not high potential, but like they're definitely good players in there. So then I just keep going back to the fact I'm like, yes, it's not like you guys are all dead wood. I know in the past we talk about like Arsenal and Liverpool when they were shit, it was just a bunch of dead wood. You look at your squad and there's players that start for their national teams. There's players that are, young talent. Mason Mount, who at his peak he was one of Chelsea's best players and has not been any resemblance of that ever since signing. So it's like Rashford, who obviously we know the whole story of Rashford. I wouldn't rate Garnacho and Anthony that high because I never really rated them. But Xerxes had a crazy season. Hoyland did really well. So I'm like looking at your squad. I'm like, yo, if this team was like on it, they could easily compete for top four. Now, obviously, they wouldn't go to challenge the title, but if they were on it, you have the players. So then it just leads me back to what the problem is, and it just keeps going back to one guy. And like you said, you don't like talking
All
much about the fraud, but man,
The
yeah,
angry egg, bro.
the angry egg, dude. Like it's almost it's. I mean, it's been depressing for you for sure, but like it finally like hit me when I started looking at your roster. I'm like, dude, I take Misraoui out of Madrid because I want a right back, and he's pretty good. Delight was one of the potential future stars not too long ago, and yeah, he's dipped a little in form, but he's still solid. Lisandro's one of the best center backs in the world, despite like his height and all the controversy and shit. But he's really good. Dalot starts for Portugal, and I rate him heavily. So it's like all these names come up. Yeah, Casemiro's getting down in there in age, but he has the experience. At least he can help in the locker room too if he's not playing. Mino, young talent. It's just one of those things. It's like, dude, if these guys were on it, they could easily compete. But nah, dude, that bald fraud. Like, I don't know,
It's just,
dude.
he's got bad man management is really what it is. Like, and so something that got brought to my attention the other day, and it kills me to say this out loud. I don't even want to say this out loud. United bought Mason Mount for what, like 60 M's plus,
It
and
was
then
yeah.
they sell Sancho for 25 M's, bro. Like that,
Yeah.
and Ten Hag still doesn't know Mason Mount's best position. Like that's the type of man management that the guy has. That's it's the reason why
Oh,
this club is never going to succeed with this guy is because the man management is dead.
thank God for you said that because you finally gave me my new best argument for why Ten Hag's a fraud. A fraud. Not a frog, a fraud. You can be a frog if you want. But because you said he hasn't been able to find Mason Mount's position, and I think I made it really clear how much I don't rate this manager. I absolutely despise Frank Lampard as a manager. I don't rate him one bit. But even him, he got the best out of Mason Mount. He's arguably the one that got the best out of Mason Mount and made him what he was known for. So if a manager that shit can get the best out of Mason Mount, what the fuck is Ten Hag on, bro? I just don't understand. And he's had so much time. I don't know. I yes, Arteta hasn't won anything outside an FA Cup, and he has the argument that he's won more than Arsenal has in his time, whatever. But dude, you look at this team and it's just laughable. They're not gonna win anything significant in time to come. And at least Arsenal look nice and they compete and they're fun to watch. Freaking United, Johnny, I'm not even a United fan and I get depressed watching them. It's bad. It's so bad. And I don't know. It's just I love how we always get back to Ten Hag somehow. Start with Champions League and we end up talking about Ten Hag. But no, I don't know. It just baffled my mind when I was looking at the squad. I'm like, dude, this squad actually isn't terrible. It's actually pretty good. And if they were cooking, I think they could easily compete for top 4. But yeah, I don't
Who
know.
do they
Who do
play
you?
next?
They play. Yeah, I have it up right now.
Palace.
They play Palace at Palace too. So that's a tough game. Palace has pretty much their full squad, I believe, too. I don't think they have injuries.
Eze's been MIA for me in fantasy, so we'll see what happens.
Palace got Nketiah too. Kind of points of proof. Mateta too. He's been cooking.
Bro, he went stupid in the was it Olympics?
Yeah.
Was it Olympics? Yeah, and he just carried that form since.
And the back end of last year too. Yeah, bro.
Oh, Palace got a squad, bro, because they got Mark Gahey too. I didn't
I
realize
really
they got.
like that Morton kid. I wanted
Yup.
to do next time.
Yup.
I didn't realize they got Mitchell still. I thought he had left.
No, remember? He was the one that we got wrong in that
Oh.
in that guesser game.
Yeah. Yeah, say Dean Henderson, Rob Holding, Daniel Munoz, Chaloba. They got Chaloba, bro. Chaloba's my bro, dude.
What's that?
boy.
German. He's that French center back from the Bundesliga. Lacroix.
Lacroix, yeah, the fast one.
They paid him up too.
Yeah, and then they also have Jefferson Lerma, the defensive mid. I rate him heavy. Smiley Sarr, I forgot about this dude. No, they got a squad, dude. That's definitely gonna be a tough game. It's not gonna be an easy game. I didn't realize they have Matt Turner also. They got 2 players from where. Interesting. I don't know. I guess we could go straight into Premier League predictions. What do you guys say for this game? Crystal Palace, Newcastle.
Honestly, with the form that Manchester United are in, you could say that you could see them winning the game. However, I know that this guy has made Manchester United's away record the worst it's been in a very, very, very long time. So I don't think we get 3 points. I think they draw, and that's because I don't want to say that Manchester United lose.
And it'd be beneficial if they did lose, so you can get them out.
It'd be nice, but I can't. I'm done wishing downfall on my players. It was sad that I went into last weekend really saying that I hope the team that hasn't won a single Premier League game wins their first game against Manchester United. And they almost did with the pen that they missed too. So like
you got shit against Southampton.
That's
it's
what
almost like this guy wants to get sacked.
That's what I'm saying. Like the guy is just very, very questionable. And so, yes, I want him out, but I'm tired of watching my team suffer. I'll take a draw. I don't think they're going to get 3 points. If they do, then Krillin, he's not Krillin. I can't call him Krillin. I don't even remember what I'm calling this man. Captain Underpants, bro. Like, because, this dude's just a fool, bro. This dude's just a fool. And so we'll see what he can do.
What's it called? I was going to say, do you think Excuse me. Do you think that if you guys lose this game, pressure's on again, or do you think that he's gonna ride the wave since you guys got the win?
He's
Last
gonna
week?
ride the wave because of that 7-0. And the crazy thing is they haven't since his entire time there. That's the first time that they've scored more than 5 in a game. So like, yeah, I don't
Johnny,
know. He's gonna ride that
Johnny,
wave.
are you not happy about like the way Rashford played or Garnacho or
It's
like I
against
know like
it's Barnsley, mate. It's Barnsley. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but like you know, like these are the games you want them to get their confidence in.
Yeah.
That way they can like be so like I would like looking at this, seeing who scored is who I'd be more like. If it was just everybody was on the score sheet, then I would bet like Rashford got 2, Garnacho got 2, Anthony got a pity pen, so that shit don't count. Who else got one? Ericsson got 2. You know,
Ericsson looked really good at the 10 in this game, so maybe he gives Bruno a run for his money at 10. Garnacho is my favorite player on United. I think he's the future. He's the future for sure.
so I know we've already probably touched like the Sancho thing, and do you guys think? What do you guys think after seeing him play for what was it that 45 minutes?
Yeah.
For
See,
Chelsea?
I rate
I
Sancho,
think
bro.
everybody just suddenly. I don't like it anymore. I'm sick of like he'll go to Dortmund, have one good game, and everybody's like, "Oh, there he is," and suddenly he'll have like one good game against Bournemouth, who should have put that pen away. That would have been a completely different game. And
Yeah.
you'll have Cole Palmer, who's like doing everything on the right, and then you got Jinky Majinky on the left. So those guys didn't know really what to do. So I'm still not rating fucking Sancho.
See, for me, it's like I don't rate him as a world beater. I don't rate him as like, oh, you get Sancho, your team's completely changed. Why I rate him in the sense that he's beneficial to your team. I think if you have the option to play Sancho, you play him. Or if not, he's your first sub in. I feel like he has an impact on your attack. And with the way Chelsea is and the way they struggle to be creative and find goals, except for that Wolves game, I feel like Sancho is a perfect addition. And yeah, it's been early doors, and we see this every year. He cooks when he's on loan, but I just feel like he never had a chance at United, and I feel like the shit we saw at Dortmund, we could have easily saw at United. It's just Ten Hag being Ten Hag, which we keep going back to him and the issues he causes for United. But I feel like we would have saw the same Sancho at Dortmund at United, which isn't a world beater. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely better than what they had. Better than what Anthony and Garnacho provided. Rashford too. Like they didn't provide basically anything, and I think a Sancho who's decent is better than a shit Rashford. So, which is why I believe that it's a good signing for Chelsea, because I don't think Chelsea have anything like what Sancho's best can provide. And I think if him, Palmer, Madueke, I don't really rate Felix anymore as much, but even him and what's his name? They got so many players. Neto, Jackson. If any combination of those, or three combination of players from that list can get like the flow and chemistry going, I feel like their offensive line would be a threat. Like we talk about the trios in the Prem. We had the Son, Kane, whoever the fuck you want to add throughout the years of their partnership, the Salah, Firmino, Mane, all the other trios we've seen in the Prem. Chelsea has potential to have a crazy trio. It's just got to click. Whether it's going to ever click, I don't know. But they definitely have the players, and they're young enough and they're talented enough to be a trio that's like renowned for being dangerous. But, Jerry's still out.
I'm taking the big X approach. I'm just gonna roast Chelsea until they get good because That's basically what you have to do in this situation. Like, especially the thing about the Sancho thing, as a United fan, I hate it. I hate it because I knew what he was supposed to do at United. He's never gotten the chance to do that at United. But what pisses me off is how like happy he is at Chelsea right now. Like just how like bro,
And he's with the man them.
bro, but even just like he's like trying to rub it like in the wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really trying to like do the most on social media and like you can tell that like he's doing this to provoke people at United. Like,
The
look, I'm
thing is,
happy.
bro, you
Look,
should
I'm
be
winning. Like, so
Johnny.
it what's good? What's good?
I feel like you should be happy that he's basically not to the fan base, but like that he's giving the FU to Ten Hag because it's just another reason to push your manager out. Because if Sancho can be successful everywhere he goes besides United, it just points the fingers back to what's wrong with United. So does that not like? Is there not a little bit of that that's like, oh, at least he's proving Ten Hag wrong, or you just get offended because he's kind of rubbing it in a little too much?
I'm I'm offended that he isn't in the squad. Like, and just that it didn't work out. And that's
Yeah.
not on it. I'm not offended with him. I'm more upset that Ten Hag really couldn't make that shit work.
So another
And
question: do you like? Because I know what I said was kind of a little bit of a hot take, and I used to kind of react to it. Would you take a good Sancho, a decent Sancho, over the Rashford you've been dealing with for the last year, basically?
100%. And that's why I get so pissed that he's happy like at Chelsea. Like, bro, you should be pissed. You should have been. There's players who will sit here and go, fuck it. I'm gonna stay at the club. Fuck the manager. I'm gonna fight for my spot. He has to play me. And because the situation isn't like that, it sucks seeing Sancho do what bro, he's like I said, like it's I'm so bitter. Like I'm just so bitter because he's so happy at Chelsea. And if he's even half as good as a player as what like when he is on loan at Dortmund or just in general, like Chelsea are gonna figure it out. And so like what pisses me off about Chelsea is because of this Royal Rumble WWE size roster, like bro, when there's days the front three are struggling, they can just take out all three and put in a whole new front three. And when you have players like Sancho, Felix, and Nkunku, you guys have like bro, those are players who are gonna make a difference. When you do that at United, you only have one, maybe two. And so like to just kind of further the point, just going forward, I know if it's 60th minute and I'm looking at the bench, do I have put in Sancho or do I put in Rashford? It's Sancho every time because you know that he's going to come with more pace. He's going to go at the defenders a little bit more. He's going to try and create not just for himself but for his teammates. And with Rashford, you don't get that from him. Like you really don't. And so yeah, I would take Sancho over Rashford in a heartbeat. But Krillin seems Captain Underpants seems to really like Rashford, and so I don't know, man. That's just his player, and managers do that. Managers
Yeah, I
die
mean,
on
we
their
even saw it
sword
with
for certain
Arteta. You
players.
know, Arteta Arteta had that issue with Aubameyang, and they could never recover from it. And it's one of those things where even when they supposedly hashed things out and Aubameyang was back in the squad, next season he was shipped out. They actually sold Aubameyang in this case. Sancho's just being loaned out, but I think because there's too much money involved. But no, yeah, that shit happens, and sometimes it's unfortunate for the fan base that owns the player because they never get to see the best of him. Yusuf, I want to ask you the same question since you did have that reaction. Are you opposite feeling in terms of the whole Sancho
Oh
and
no,
Rash?
no, 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 no. Rashford has like this last two, almost like 3 years now. Is like
It's fell
has
off a
just
cliff.
fallen off a cliff, dude. I don't know. I don't know about him anymore. So I just like that he got those two goals. Getting his confidence up. But it is clearly, like you guys said, Ted Hog. But I want to flip it back to your guys' favorite manager. He got jet black hair. He did the business this weekend against the fucking What you guys think of that?
Bro, the like I was saying, there
Arteta fucking
this was my boy expression is gives a good example. Arsenal were Bagel FC, bro. I don't know who was in that midfield. There was nobody in that midfield. So for Tottenham to really do that bad, like against Arsenal, I said this motherfucker Gabriel was gonna score off a set piece, bro. I just didn't think that with the lack or the lack of quality in the midfield that they would get the result. So I know that a lot of people are pissed at Ange. I know a lot of people are pissed at Ange, but you have to give it up to my boy Jet Black Hair when the pressure is on. Can he win a North London Derby away in the Tottenham Stadium without certain Mandem? And you do come out with the win, 3-point lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's exciting. There was the stat that Arsenal have more wins in the new Tottenham Spurs Stadium than Tottenham have at the Emirates. And the Tottenham Stadium just like, you know what I'm saying, ain't even open that long. So the entire time that the Emirates has been built, Tottenham have lost more games like there than they've won, and it's like then Arsenal's won at the fucking Tottenham Stadium. It's crazy, bro. It's actually crazy. But yeah, I think, like I said, I have to give it up to my guy. If the backs, if everybody's saying you're gonna potentially lose this game, you're missing these players, and you figure out how to come out with 3 points, nothing but respect.
Yeah, I guess I'll add to that. I am not the biggest Arteta fan, but I did say I would back the manager this season because I do want Arsenal to win. But he proved people wrong because everyone assumed that we were done for without the midfield, especially two of our biggest players, captain and one of our best midfielders. And he did something that most people wouldn't have expected. I mean, he dropped Trossard into the midfield. Most people just said put Havertz in the midfield and then play Jesus or something. No, he kept Havertz up top because he knew that's what was working, and he dropped Trossard into the midfield, and he put in a shift, and then obviously with the subs. But he had the option to play some kids. He had the option to change things up, put Zinchenko in the midfield since he plays in the midfield for Ukraine, but he stuck to his guns and what he's been, ride or die with, and it worked out. Yeah, it's Tottenham, and they can't score. They seem like they can't score a goal to save their lives. But at the same time, I mentioned, Arsenal, if they want to win the league, they have to get through these two tests. They got through the first one, and the next one, the biggest one, is gonna be City. Which, funny enough, if they beat City, they're still gonna be behind. I think because City's up by 4 points, or is it just how many are they up by?
I think it's just the two.
Oh, is it just a 2? Oh, okay. So yeah. Then
Yeah.
if they do pass this test, that would be their moment to prove that they're worthy contenders. And until they do that, I don't care. Arsenal don't deserve a title until they beat City, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say that they don't deserve a title until they beat City in both fixtures. Because 1 point is not enough. And 1 point's not enough to run away with the league against City. Like, they're gonna drop points. They're gonna drop points somewhere else. They do it every single season. They drop points where they shouldn't. It's how they lost the league 2 years in a row now. Essentially, is back into the season. They drop points and City doesn't. City does what City does. So the only way to counteract that is you take all 6 points from them. That's the only way to counteract that. Until you do that, you're not gonna win the league. So they passed one test. Now I'm hoping they do the other one, but we'll see, man. That's what I'm saying. We got to get this watch along going.
We will be there.
Hey, what's that, Johnny? What about you?
I think so.
Yeah. What's it called? I don't know. I just want to see the look in Yusuf's face when he realizes Arsenal's coming for that title, bro.
And yeah, with that big game, like we talked in the group chat, KDB is going to be out for this game potentially, right? So we'll have to get the the word on it. I don't know if he said if Pep said anything after
Yeah,
the game.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see by Friday's press conference.
So see what that looks like. But yeah,
I'm
no,
never one to like hope for players to get injured, but it does kind of make it even. Now that KDB's probably
Does
as
it,
good
though?
as
Does
Declan
it?
Rice and Odegaard combined, so
I don't know if it makes it even because like we can still do a business with.
oh,
I think
100% you can. But it's just nice knowing we're missing
like
good
we're not gonna
players
be
and you're
out there
missing
like
one.
throwing Trossard in our midfield. Like
Yeah, you got
they're
options.
gonna be playing somebody in that midfield who doesn't have legs, whether it be Jorginho or Partey, and that's how we're gonna beat them. Is gonna be in the midfield.
Yeah, I'm
We're just gonna
hoping.
Jorginho was cramping up in the game against Tottenham, and Rand said, "How can a man who can't run the midfield cramp up?" Like, bro,
That's
I
real talk, though.
died laughing, bro. I died laughing, bro.
Bro, if I could watch football with anybody in the world from like the YouTube game, it'd be him.
No, those dudes are different, man. But yeah, I don't know. I think Gabriel and Saliba are up for the Holland challenge, so it should be a good game. It
Oh,
should
Oh
be
yeah,
no,
a good
yeah,
bro.
game.
They're
and Holland
definitely.
wants that, bro.
Holland wants redemption.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He don't want to be pocketed 2 games in a row like that.
No, he does not.
And he's on the right form, too.
Yeah.
I
He's
guess
just
if you
unlucky enough to
ignore
score
Champions
today.
League, yeah, but if you ignore
That's some
Champions League,
good.
he's in the best form of his life. Basically, he's killing it. Hat tricks
See, that's gonna be
galore.
the thing. Like, I think Holland won't win us this game. It'll be like the players around him because he's gonna be keeping Saliba or Jesus or Gabriel
But even
occupied
then,
or both.
that's him doing putting a shift, dragging the defenders away. Like, yeah, he
Yeah,
won't
you
might
don't
he
do
might
that
not
during
be
the ball.
the one scoring, but he's gonna occupy the defense, and without his presence there, the defense wouldn't be focused on him. So even him just being there helps so much. I feel like,
This game. What was predictions?
yeah, I was gonna
Johnny?
say I feel like we should go for predictions. Go ahead, Johnny.
Because my manager has jet black hair and he's not some bald fraud, I'm gonna say 1-1. And it's not the result that either team wants, but I just don't want Arsenal to lose. I don't see them winning this
Alright.
game, but a win in Arsenal's book without Odegaard is a draw. It wouldn't be a win against Tottenham, but against a team like Man City, a tie is a draw. I agree that if they want to win the title, they need to get 6 points, but realistically here, you're going into that game going, don't lose the game. That's it.
City's home too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All 30 fans are going to be there.
The last time they played was at City and they tied 0-0. Okay.
I think it's going to be a 1-0 because
Yeah.
I think Arteta's going to come in with the same game plan as he did with Spurs of just like, hey, let you guys have the ball and we'll sit back and we'll see what he'll do. If he'll play that fucking, he'll probably park the bus again. So I don't really expect him to do much.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 1-0 to the Arsenal. Like, I can't imagine them scoring more than a goal in this game for what Yusuf just said. They're probably gonna sit back, and if they do win, it's gonna have to be by the smallest of margins. And I'm just going based on the fact that I'm rooting for Arsenal the whole way through. That being said, I made the stipulation that for me, they can't win the league unless they get 6 points. This would be the first step. To do that, they have to win 1-0. And this is, for me, literally make or break of the season. If they don't get more than...
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, if they don't get 3 points in this game, I think the season's written for. Unless City have some sort of anomaly crisis midway through, or the trials end up a certain way, I don't think anybody stops City from getting a 5th title if Arsenal don't get 6 points from those matches. So yeah. Quickly,
re-
let's. Oh yeah, go for it.
I really want them to go like live, like how they some of these court cases and other like here in the U.S. Like I know I've seen a few court cases live on like Facebook and like Instagram and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
really hope that we get some of these segments of these charges because when you hear 115 charges, what types of charges are they? You know what I'm saying? Are they big charges? Are they
Bro, I can tell
small
you
ones?
right now. What?
And so
He's been
all
studying.
100, all 115, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean. I just want to know what the
Yeah.
hell are they actually talking about in there? Like what is actually being said? What's actually being done? Like so as all I'm hoping for is, you know, they just show it. They just show it because it just seems like they're just trying to paint some narrative like and just try and make that the story of the Premier League this season like and that's dead. Like that's dead. I don't want the balance of the Premier League title to come down to a court case in March. If it is, I need to be knowing what's going on, not just, oh, hey, in March, Man City are good. Okay, then what the hell did y'all do from September all the way to March? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where my head's at. But that's just because we're talking about City right now.
Feel it. I was gonna say, what do you guys think? Quickly on the other, just the last few games, since we did kind of talk about Sancho earlier. West Ham Chelsea. That's a really good game because both teams have pretty new signings. They have pretty decent records. I believe West Ham wasn't doing too bad. Pull up their.
Is it at? Where is it at?
Oh, so it
It's
is at London Stadium. So West Ham.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think West Ham is okay. They're 14th, so actually they're not doing too hot. I thought they were
Yeah, I
doing
was
a
gonna
lot
say.
better.
Yeah, I don't think they've clicked yet. Fulkrug has not been looking.
I
Okay,
think
so
he's
yeah,
injured too.
Is he okay?
I think they were saying that he's got some or they're gonna examine him, but yeah, he got hurt or something happened to him. I don't know when.
yeah. Chelsea's got 7 points. West Ham has 4, so mid-table clash here. But I mean, both teams could easily win this game. I could see West Ham or going either way. Um, Based off what I was saying about Sancho, I think this is another good test to see how much of an impact he'll actually have to this Chelsea squad. So, me thinking he is going to have a good impact, and Cole Palmer being as cold as he is, I believe Chelsea will pull through. I don't think it's going to be by a big margin, but I think they do get the win. You guys' thoughts on this game?
I hope they're both teams from London. I don't know what kind of derby this is. I know they're gonna call it some type of London
Yeah.
derby, London
Yeah, probably
derby.
just London Derby. Yeah.
And so like looking I guess historically it seems like it goes back and forth. Like it's not like there's an actual clear winner. Like you would think that with this fixture between the both that Chelsea would have more wins and it seems to be going a little bit back and forth as far as recent time goes. Obviously I want Chelsea to fall flat on their face. I want Sancho to not have a good game. I don't want Cole Palmer to have a good game. So I would like West Ham to win, but I don't know. I haven't heard much from Kudus. I haven't heard much from, like I said, Fulkrug. I haven't heard too much of
Paqueta,
the.
nothing, bro.
That's nothing too crazy about this season as far as certain hype and where to follow this West Ham team. I know Jared Bowen's always going to be a guy that people talk about, but um, I don't know if this team is ready to beat Chelsea. Wan-Bissaka might be able to help log down some defensive stuff, but going forward, what do they have? I'm not sure anymore. So unfortunately, I mean not unfortunately, but unfortunate for West Ham's case, the way you win a football match is you have to outscore your opponent. And as far as a threat going forward, I think because of this Royal 30-man Royal Rumble roster that Chelsea are going to bring on this weekend, I think Chelsea edge it maybe 1-0, 2-0 just because of some last minute subs with fresh legs.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Yusuf, before you go, did want to throw out the stats. So the last 4 games between these two teams, there's been 2 wins for Chelsea, 2 wins for West Ham. But the most recent game, Chelsea won 5-0. And that was at Stamford Bridge. So don't know if that changes anything, but yeah, I just felt like
Yeah.
throwing that out since I looked it up.
I'm gonna have to say, like, I'm gonna have to repeat what Johnny was saying. Like, this squad is so big. Like, one of these front three like combinations has to work. They just have so many players. Like, if one player's fit, you just take them out, use another player. If that player's fit, use them out, take another player. If that player, they just have a bench that's better than most teams. So that's where I think Chelsea might just edge it most games this season, purely on the players they bring off the bench. So I'm gonna just say 2-0 to Chelsea. West Ham haven't moved me yet.
Yeah, and I don't think they've moved anyone because 4 points doesn't look too good, especially with all the signings they made. I think everybody would agree they expected a little bit more from them, especially because a lot of those signings were good players, and they still kept, like Jared Bowen. They got Jared Bowen, Paqueta. It's just like players that do have an impact and are well renowned. So definitely interesting to see where they finish. The last game I wanted to talk about is simply because they pissed me off so much last week. Liverpool, they play Bournemouth this week. Do you think they're actually going to do what we expect them to do, or do you think it's going to be another one of those Liverpool get the job done, but it's a 1-0, 2-0 win?
Trying to think of how Bournemouth have been doing this season. I mean, like they went toe to toe with Chelsea. Oh yeah, then they robbed Everton in the last like 5 minutes of that game.
So
We
that,
said it. We said it with Nottingham that they shouldn't have even won the game, and they came out with 3 points.
yeah.
I don't know if that was that game at home. Was the game at home? Ooh, it was at home. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I think this is a slip up. It's you get the new manager bounce, and there's going to be new manager struggles. There's going to be times where Arnie has to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. I think I think things will be back to normal, and by normal I mean Liverpool should be able to just kind of breeze past this Bournemouth team.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the beauty of the Premier League, isn't it? You get teams that are at the top going against teams that are at the bottom half of the table, and they surprise us in results like that. Honestly, I'd be a little bit more. I'm a lot more surprised at forgetting that this game happened at Anfield and they lost at home. So maybe this is their redemption to the home fans for last week. You would think that with the bounce after beating Milan, that they're really up for this game. So I hope that they take care of business, and I hope because I have Salah in my team, he delivers a little bit more points this week.
I'm right there with you, man. I think they're going to bounce back strong. I don't trust them enough to captain Salah anymore, so that's not happening. But sure enough, I'm not gonna captain him, and that's when he's gonna go off. That's just how it works. But yeah, I think they bounce back strong, especially being at the level of what it requires to beat Milan. I think they're still gonna be in that level mindset wise, and it's just gonna be too much for Bournemouth. Yusuf,
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Evan Nelson is just following the same trend of like Liga no strikers that come here and just flop. But
yeah,
still gonna give him time. He should have buried that pen and buried Chelsea. But I think I really like Bournemouth actually. Like they have a good squad, they have a good manager.
I think they're
They
doing
have
a lot better than people thought after losing
yeah, no,
Solanke.
I actually like really who is it, Raiola? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Iraola?
really rate that guy. And I just think they just need another year of developing. And this could be another slip up for Chelsea or for Arsenal if they're not careful. But I'm gonna say it won't be enough, so it's gonna be 2-0.
All right, yeah. So I think we're all pretty much agreed on all those predictions. Anything else you guys want to talk about Premier League wise or anything outside of the Prem?
Mm. Nah.
Trying to think if there's anything I can think of. I
Yeah, while you
mean,
think, while you
Is
think,
it weird that we're watching Champions League games on a Thursday? Is that not weird?
it does feel a little weird being a Manchester United fan and seeing Champions League on Thursday.
that's so wild because that's exactly the question I was gonna ask. I was like, what do you think about Thursday games?
Hey, anytime they can squeeze in more games is cool with me. I know that actually I saw something that actually this is what I want to talk about because we were talking about the schedule. I saw Kunde mention that players might have to go on strikes to get these schedules reduced and to actually get people to understand that they're overworking the players. I want to open to you guys. I don't know if you guys pay how much, sports outside of football you guys know, but the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, they are notorious for, they'll have seasons for lockouts where they just don't have the season, whether they start the season a few weeks later or they just don't completely have a season at all. There's been lockouts like that. And so just because Kunde has said something, and again, we're seeing some of these players who work so hard for their club and country that they just don't get any rest. I think Rodri even made a comment that you can see Holland, who doesn't get the heavy European, international schedule like some of the other countries do. So when he comes back to the Premier League, look at how fit he looks. Look at how ready he is to score goals. I mean, it's never a problem for Holland to score goals, but like, do you think that Kunde is onto something where we might potentially see these players throw a strike? And what do you think? What competition do you think does it first? Do you think it's like a top five league? Do you think it's somebody outside the top five? What is it? This UCL new format? Like, what strike do you think happens first, if there is one?
Yeah. Let me start just because I have a lot of thoughts on this already. Um, so first off, will it ever happen? Who knows? Anytime soon? Fuck no, bro.
No. Say it with
There's,
chest. Say it with chest.
no,
If you
there,
believe it,
yeah, no, I don't think this is ever. If it ever happens, it would be probably in like a FA Cup out of all things, something a smaller competition, or I guess let me not disrespect the FA Cup, but the Community Shield, some small one-off tournament before anything else. Simply because there's too much money into these games. Yes, I know all these other sports have so much money involved too, but secondly, these players have no power, dude. Kunde, in the scheme of things, is a nobody. Like, and on top of it, he plays for Barcelona, who Barcelona is notorious for not wanting to step on toes and wanting to make sure they're on the good side because they're in their own problems themselves. So they're not going to want their players to be stirring up the pot. And we hear players complain about it every single year and never do anything about it. So what does Kunde saying something change for anybody? I think it's a discussion we're going to hear more often because of the Champions League format and now the Club World Cup. But we've heard it since Klopp every season complaining about the games. It gets worse and worse, yes, and things keep changing, but I don't think we're gonna. Well, the players might hit a breaking point because they keep getting injured, but there's so much money. You look at Chelsea; they just keep buying players. They're always gonna have somebody fit. They're always gonna have an 11-man squad, 23-man squad to register. Teams just have too much money, too much power or they don't care enough about actually having the best performance. Because if we're being honest, if it was about the best performance, we wouldn't be having 8 games in a Champions League league phase. It would be we'd probably still keep the 6, but maybe change the format a little, but the games wouldn't change. Our players are getting run into the ground, and they made that decision knowing damn well that people weren't going to be happy about it. But as long as it lines their pockets, that's what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, the people making those decisions are in charge of the people that are complaining about it. So it's going to fall on deaf ears, at least for a couple more years, in my opinion. Seems pessimistic for me, but at the same time, dude, you heard Klopp complaining about it so many times in the Prem, and he was one of the most biggest influential people in the Prem, and nothing ever happened. So I don't think it happens anytime soon. If it did, it'd probably happen with the FA and the Premier League teams before anything. But I just don't see it ever happening.
I personally think if it happens, it'll happen after this year with so much of the congested schedule. And I think if players like opt out of a competition, I almost think it'd be their international breaks and stuff. But those are almost like you need to go because of World Cup and Euros and stuff. But I feel like this. I don't know. Players like you guys said don't. I mean, no, player power actually has changed so much in the last like 20 years that I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some if they organize something to like do a walkout in. So I could honestly see it happening.
So I think seeing it happen and it actually having an impact, two different things. I could
Yeah.
see it happening. I could see it happening, and it delays or postpones a match, and people get fined or whatever. But whether it actually has an impact, I feel like something major has to happen. Like, obviously, don't want this to happen, but a player has to literally faint on the pitch, or fucking a team has no players to register because they're all injured, and it's like a big name player or a big team that's missing out on a final match, something huge where it's directly involved with the number of games we're playing and exhaustion and injuries. Something like that were to happen, say, obviously we'll just pick our two teams. Madrid and City get to the final of the Champions League this season, and they have too many injuries that they can't line up, and there's kids playing the match because the main stars are all injured, or they'll faint on the pitch if they can't continue any longer. Something like that, or if someone on the pitch actually faints and ends up at the hospital. It would take something catastrophic with such a big name, big presence, where only then would they start to address the issue. Is what I think. That's what I think it takes for them to be actually taken serious.
I like that y'all add the difference between like could it happen and versus like will it be effective? Because yeah, I'm glad that was a light that I didn't really look at either. The big word and why I brought it up was because the word has never been used before, and it was strike, and so that's immediately what drew my attention was because it was like okay, like if Kunde is a international quote unquote international star being on Barcelona, being on the France team, you know, what kind of players will join the strike, you know, and that's kind of where my head went because that's how it goes in these other sports is, you know, one or two of the big dogs in the league is like, nah man, like I'm not doing this, and we all stand on the team captain, and so we kind of stick with it. Like you know, and so that was why I brought it up was because I've never heard the word strike before used in this you know, conversation about player resting. I've definitely heard we've heard that, you know, about the heavy schedule, but yeah, that when I heard the word strike, I started to say, hold on, do we have something like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB where we might have a lockout or something like that. And so yeah, that was just something that kind of had me thinking a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll hold my hands up if it happens. Great. If anything, more power to them, and I'll be happy because if they veto or strike a international competition or whatever, that's one less subscription I have to pay for. So they're saving money in my pockets too. So I'm not gonna complain about it, but I just don't. I'm pessimistic in the sense that I don't think anything will change anytime soon. But I would be happy if next week all the players just decide not to play the league fixtures just because the the amount of games they're playing, or shit. Boxing Day is always full of like 2-3 matches during, like right up until Christmas, and players miss out on Christmas and don't get to celebrate and shit like that. I think I'd be a perfect time to do it, and I would not complain because that means I don't have to be up watching the Premier League on Christmas Day. Like it'd be convenient for fans too. Like, yes, we want to watch the players, but I think I can speak for a lot of people that I'd rather watch my team at full strength, playing really good football, playing like Holland does with full recovery, because they were able to actually line up with a full strength squad more often than having to watch us and then complain that, oh, we didn't have this full strength squad to compete against this guy, and now we drop points to a lower level team. Like, I think it just puts a lot of excuses in the fans' mouth too, because we just have to accept the fact that we just lost to the bottom table team. Like that conversation comes up a lot more now when your team is full of injuries. So
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't complain about a strike. I just am very pessimistic of the idea of it, one, happening, and two, actually being effective. Yeah, I don't know. I like the question though. I think it definitely put me into a space where I hadn't really thought about. So appreciate the question. You guys
Yeah, y'all
got
did. Y'all were valid too. Y'all made some really good points.
y'all got anything else you want to throw out there? Or I think we're good.
No, I think that's it. At least
All right.
for me.
Yeah. I'm thinking we'll call it there too. I think it was a really solid one. So, yeah. Well, again, thank you, Yusuf and Johnny, for joining me for another episode of the Away End. We look forward to basically a championship game this weekend, and we'll touch back after, and we'll talk more about the Champions League and Thursday matches.
I'm just saying, depending on this weekend, you may or may not see me in the next 5. So.
Oh God.
We can't. We're not even 10 games into the Prem. We can't start ducking right now.
We can't, bro.
Like 8 games in.
Don't worry. What you do is you just say, "Hey, there was no face cam, so that was AI." Be like, Fabri plugged me AI, so that's what happened.
It is what it is.
That's what I'm gonna say whenever my hot takes are shit and you don't have the face cam. I'm gonna say, "No, that was AI, bro."
That was AI.
Uncle, that was AI speaking for me. I didn't say that.
All right, boys. Well,
All right. We're gonna call it there. We'll see you guys next week for another episode.